All right, Giants fans. So I just got finished watching the Speak segment about the Giants, and every time I watch a Speak segment about the Giants, unfortunately, Acho's the only one that makes sense on that panel. Now, you may like the other three people on the panel, but you would obviously be a Daniel Jones hater. If you hate Daniel Jones, then yes, you would love Shady and Joy and James Jones talking point. And they all three of them have different talking points. Like, for example, don't listen to Joy. Joy is just your typical hater. She doesn't even want to talk about the Giants because she's upset with them for signing Daniel Jones. And she's always been a Daniel Jones hater. And I really don't think Tua is that great anyways. Like, Tua at the end of the day is better than Daniel Jones, but you got to understand he's working with a better offensive line and he's working with far better wide receivers. And so he's a concussion away of being a waste of $60 million a year. So I hope they pay him, and I'm not wishing injury on him, but they definitely down here in Miami worry about that. And again, I'm not wishing that on him, but I can't wait to see what happens with Tua. She needs to mind her own goddamn business if she's just going to sit there and hate and not bring anything to the table outside of her looking fine. Now, for James Jones sees himself as Darius Slayton. Like, low-key, if he ain't played with Aaron Rodgers, he probably would be Darius Slayton. Let's just say he was playing with Daniel Jones. He knows that Daniel Jones can't elevate him, which at the end of the day, he's not wrong. I mean, we drafted Daniel Jones from Duke, and a lot of people are saying you're in year 6, he should be better, but how so? He's been hurt. He's been coached by idiots. Outside of Dable, and I would put Shermer over that idiot Joe Judge. And if I'm not mistaken, then we have Freddie Kitchens as an offensive coordinator. We had dumbass Jason Garrett, who the wide receivers hated Jason Garrett. Like, the Giants have been a mess. I get it. Daniel Jones is not good, but 85% of that shit is the Giants being a fucking mess and drafting him in the first place. A lot of this shit goes right back to the Giants management, and a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that, including the three. I don't want to call them any mean names, but they be acting like simpletons when it comes to the Giants. So the three haters on the Speak panel refuse to acknowledge that the Giants are the ones that are screwing up here. I get it. You wish that Daniel Jones would play better, but I wish he would stay healthy and play better. A lot of his issues, again, is the durability with him. And if you're not available, how are you going to improve? Yes, you could be healthy and play bad, but there's always a chance that you would improve over time. I mean, if he stayed healthy last season, maybe he makes a turnaround in the Raiders game. He was looking awful that game. But at the end of the day, you can start bad and progressively get better, which I think some people will say they didn't see it happening last season if he stayed healthy because he was already missing a few games. Now you're coming back having to get back into your game mode from that neck injury caused by the offensive line. Josh Azudo is a terrible tackle. Neal is a terrible tackle. If I'm not mistaken, I think, and Acho even brings it up, there is a statistic out there that says that Daniel Jones has had the least amount of help. So I don't have to make an excuse for Daniel Jones. The data's out there. I don't have to say that Daniel Jones has had the least amount of help. The data's out there. So Acho spoke about that. Now, I do want to get to the biggest hater, which is Shady McCoy. Obviously, Shady McCoy used to be an Eagle, so, him saying anything nice about the Giants is going to be surprising. But he does like Joe, outside of the fact that Joe's backing Daniel Jones. He hates Daniel Jones because he's acting like a broke boy, which is crazy because we know that he's a millionaire. But I say that because the running backs are making significantly less than the wide receivers and quarterbacks. So it's not like I'm saying that Shady's actually broke, but they're acting. I'm sure the running backs is salty because they're putting in the most amount of work out there and they're not getting paid because the GMs have caught on to the fact that they don't age well. Joe was saying that, Saquon's 27. The data shows that they usually start to decline after 27. And so that's where his hate comes from. His hate comes from the fact that he doesn't like Daniel Jones as a quarterback, and Daniel Jones has probably made more money than him at the quarterback position, which, again, Shady played running back. So he's like a big protester for the running backs who are, I don't see the running backs that are playing acting like broke boys, but I do see Shady act like a broke boy, crying about Daniel Jones making money. I remember he made the statement that Daniel Jones shouldn't be making bank. He should be a banker. I mean, hey, I ain't pay him that money. The GM did. Eli Manning comfortable with it. He definitely backed it. John Mara backed it. I don't know why me as a lowly fan should be upset about something I can't control. At the end of the day, we can't get rid of Daniel Jones until March. So I'm just chill about it. I believe if Joe could have cut Daniel Jones this past March, I think he would cut him. That's just my opinion. So I'm not making it seem like I'm some kind of Daniel Jones supporter. I'm a Giants fan who's going to support the quarterback that started. But I'm going to be honest about the quarterback and just say, yes, I get it. He has not played well historically. But the Daniel Jones hate on the Speak panel, they need to balance that panel and get rid of Joy whenever they talk about the Giants and bring that one dude in. I forgot his name. He's a white guy, and he is very intelligent and fair. And he doesn't think Daniel Jones is good. But at the same time, he's not like, oh, Daniel Jones sucks. Like the other two clowns that would be left, which would be James Jones and Shady McCoy, the former Eagles player, who will always be an Eagle player to me, and I'm always going to talk shit about Shady because fuck the Eagles. But yeah, that panel was completely garbage. Shout out to Acho for eating these lames alive again, because it's one thing to hate Daniel Jones, but let's just talk common sense for a little bit. I just want to remind everybody that these were the three people that were saying that the Giants should have tried harder to get a quarterback when the top three teams were drafting the quarterbacks we were interested in. We didn't want JJ McCarthy. So what more did you want from the Giants outside of the fact that they got one of the best weapons in the draft? I don't know, man. That panel needs to get dismantled whenever they talk about the Giants, because them three people ain't talking about shit. That comment section found out that they were just emotional haters, that they ruined the whole panel. Like, thank God for Acho for talking common sense. Big respect to Acho. Although I think you have Daniel Jones a little bit too high on your ranking. You had him at 18. I had him at like 20 something. Obviously, them haters had him at 32nd, and that it is what it is. But shout out to Acho. Them other three clowns, please don't talk about the Giants anymore.